Are you looking for a fast, easy quilt pattern to make? One that works with scraps or with yardage? And stick around because I've got one to show you that I think you're going to really like.
This is the quilt I'm going to show you how to make. It is very easy, very forgiving, beautiful, looks very sophisticated, and anybody can make this. Even if you're a beginner, this is a good quilt for you. So let's just get started and show you how this is done. First thing you're going to need is you are going to need some strips. You need 2.5-inch strips. You need blue ones, you need white ones, and you also need different colors of green ones. And the greens can vary, the blues can vary, light and dark, whatever you want to use. I can't tell you how many you're going to need because it depends on how big your quilt's going to be. You're going to make this, you're going to start with rows that go across. So the first row we're going to talk about are the blue and white rows. That's the 6-inch ones here. Then we're going to talk about the green and white. And once you know those two, you know how to make this quilt. So let me just show you. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is you're going to get yourself some blue and white strips. Blue, these are all 2.5 inches and 6 inches long for the blue and white. Here's a white one. You're going to sew those together. Here's another blue one. This is a light blue, still works. And then another white. You're going to sew those together, those 4 pieces. It's going to look like this when you're done. So here is what that looks like when you are done. 4 simple pieces. This is a nice size to work with. So you're going to make a stack of these, a whole bunch of these. Stack them all up. Then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to sew those stacks together. So this, you can see 4 at a time. We sew them together, together, together. And you're going to keep doing that till you have a strip that is as wide as the quilt that you want to make. King size, baby size, whatever you like. Now let's talk about the green. Okay, so now this time for the green, you're actually going to sew, these are 2.5-inch strips, and you can sew them long as strips because then it's going to be easier for you to cut these after you sew them together. Whereas the blue ones, it's fine, 6 inches, we can cut that ahead of time and sew. Once you have a strip of these put together at any length, you now will cut those apart. So you have strips that look like this. Now you're going to take those 4 at a time and you're going to sew all those together. And that's going to give you this strip. You're going to make it just as long as your blue strip was. What you're going to do is as you sew them together, you're going to match them up so that you start with green under white, white, white next to blue, white next to green, white next to blue. So you're going to get that nice checkered look. Now here's what's nice about this. You're going to get practice at every one of these intersections at sewing the corners. And so if you're a beginner and you're building your skills, this is fantastic for you lining up those corners. When you're done, it's going to look like this. And I can tell you that you're going to, like I said, it's great practice, but if they're off a little bit, no one is going to care. This is going to be a great quilt for you. And if you're off a little bit, what you say is, how do you like my quilt? Really, it's going to be nice when you come together because now such simple pieces, such simple strips, and you get a nice long piece like this that's going to go into your quilt and just like that. Very easy. So I have as many, I think I made a full-size quilt, so I just kept adding on till it became the length that I wanted. And that's how you do it. Now, let's talk about the quilting. In this video and you want to see more videos like this, go ahead and click the subscribe button, and the like button tells me exactly which types of videos you like to see more of. Now you may, I noticed that more than 70% of you who watch these videos have not subscribed. It may be that they're just showing up in your feed and you're not aware you're not subscribed, but if you go ahead and hit the subscribe button, it will help my channel. It'll also help more people find these videos, and it will make sure that you see them whenever there are new ones.
Now let's talk about the stitching of this quilt. So you can see we have big stitch, and all I did was start at one end, and I started somewhere in the middle roughly of the quilt, and I started stitching big stitches all the way down. The next row went all the way back up. And what I did is I changed colors. So you're going to see here I have some white. You see how that disappears in? I like that variation because for me that makes your eye move around and look at the quilt. But it gives you a really good example of when you're big stitching, if you don't want your stitches to show so much, you can go with the matching thread. Get this off here. Matching thread, and it disappears right in. Still gives you that lovely texture, but you can see that it blends right in. And now here is contrasting. So of course that one you can see. Here is one that's matching. So you have lots of options when you quilt. And again, I like the straight stitches because this really, like I said, just gives it texture. This was a pretty quilt, but once you quilt it, then it's fantastic. Now, you can also do the same thing on your sewing machine. Straight lines up and down, using whatever colors you like. And then, of course, you can also have it long-armed, but this is just a nice, happy quilt that your family is going to enjoy for years and years and years. One more little tip. Here is a piece that I didn't have enough blue, so I pieced some together. That's just something I like to do from time to time. You don't have to do it that way. Here's another one. But again, I do like the fact that you can kind of your eye moves around and you can see different pieces like that. Another thing is I have very different colors of green. So when I first started out, I thought I really want all the greens that are like this color. Then I started, well, why not darker colors? And then down here you can see I even use darker colors and it still works. There's some strong patterns in there and it still works. It's really forgiving. Like I said, you can really get rid of a lot of your scraps and get them into a free quilt.